situation. At the heart of this is Bobby J. Torgrimson, known as Nana, who calls herself Dakota's safety net. Today, we're unpacking her sworn declaration and what it reveals about child safety, disability, and family dynamics. Chloe, this is a heavy but crucial topic, isn't it?
Absolutely, Liam. It's one of those stories where the legal stuff is just the surface. Underneath, it's about real people, a vulnerable child, and adults trying to protect him. I think starting with who Bobby is and what her role means is key to understanding everything else.
Right. So Bobby is Dakota's grandmother, but more than that, she's the trusted adult he runs to when he feels unsafe. For about a year, Dakota spent roughly half the month with her. She changed his diapers, fed him, comforted him. Basically, she was his safety net. Think of a safety net in a circus, Chloe. It's there to catch someone if they fall. That's Bobby for Dakota.
That's a powerful image. And it's important to note that Bobby isn't trying to take Dakota away from his parents. She's trying to keep him safe and prevent him from going into foster care. She's actively involved in reporting safety concerns and trying to get help for the family.
Exactly. And one of the most striking moments in her declaration is the April 2nd incident. Dakota was at his father Tristan's house, with his mother Nikita there too. When Bobby called Dakota's name, he ran down the stairs, ignoring his mother and even a police officer, and jumped into Bobby's arms before she was ready.
Wow, that really shows the depth of trust Dakota has in Bobby, a 2-year-old instinctively seeking safety from the adult he knows best. It's not about conflict or drama. It's about a child looking for comfort and protection.
Yes, and Bobby uses that moment as key evidence that her role is about protection, not harassment. It's a vivid example of why she calls herself Dakota's safety net.
Now, the story gets more complicated when we look at Nikita, Dakota's mother. She has a documented disability involving expressive and receptive language disorder. Liam, can you break down what that means for our listeners?
Sure. Expressive and receptive language disorder means Nikita struggles both to understand what people say to her and to express her own thoughts clearly. Imagine trying to follow a conversation in a foreign language. You might nod along without really understanding, or freeze up when asked questions. That makes it hard for her to ask the right questions, or say no clearly.
So she's vulnerable to being controlled or manipulated by others around her, simply because she can't fully process or communicate in typical ways.
Exactly. Bobby argues that this disability is a central reason why the family needs support, not punishment or exclusion. It's about helping Nikita understand her rights and protect her child, not blaming her for what she can't control.
That ties into the next big issue, control and withholding of Dakota. Bobby alleges that Dakota was kept away from his mother for weeks, even though court orders give Nikita primary placement.
Right. This withholding is serious because it violates custody rights and can emotionally harm the child. Bobby says Madison, who is Tristan's girlfriend, and Tristan himself controlled access to Dakota, using court language and safety concerns to justify keeping him away.
And the court paperwork actually warns that withholding a child beyond approved placement can have legal consequences. So Bobby's communications were meant to document and report this control, not to harass anyone.
Exactly. It's a legal and safety issue wrapped up in family dynamics. And then there are the unsafe conditions Bobby raised. Dakota being transported by unlicensed drivers, using a cutoff stroller instead of a proper car seat, unstable housing where adults fight, and the child's whereabouts being unclear.
That's really concerning. And on top of that, Dakota has been heard using adult curse words, which is unusual for a 2-year-old. That suggests he's absorbing trauma from his environment.
Yes, and instead of comfort, he was reportedly punished with timeouts for trauma-related behavior. Experts say that's harmful because trauma in toddlers often shows up as behavior problems. But punishment only makes things worse. They need love, patience, and safety.
It's heartbreaking. And then there's the harassment injunction filed against Bobby by Madison. Bobby insists her communications were about child safety, disability support, and preserving evidence.
She argues that the injunction is being used to silence her and prevent her from reporting concerns or helping Nikita. Plus, Bobby has her own disability, a traumatic brain injury, and requests accommodations to communicate effectively.
That's an important point. Not all repeated or intense communication is harassment, especially when it's about protecting a vulnerable child. There's a real difference between harassment and legitimate safety reporting.
Absolutely. And the bigger picture here is about disability-aware support and legal protections. Laws exist to protect children's safety, ensure proper custody, and prevent neglect or abuse. There are also disability rights laws requiring agencies to communicate effectively and provide support.
Bobby's declaration calls for the court and agencies to provide disability-informed support to Nikita and focus on Dakota's safety. The goal isn't punishment, but helping the family get the services they need.
So, to wrap up, this case is a powerful example of how child safety, disability, family dynamics, and legal processes intersect.